So today we're going to be installing a couple control arms on my 1988 E28, but this process should work for all E30s, E28s, E24s, all the BMWs from this generation. But the car's been driving fine, but I did notice a couple rips in the boots, so I thought I might as well replace all those parts before any real issues do come up. And when dealing with control arms, the one thing I did learn is that after we install these parts, we gotta lightly bolt them down, then drop the car, and then tighten them under load. But more info on that later. For now, let's just get these wheels off the car and get started. Now with the wheel off, we finally have a better look at our suspension system, and the control arm we're going to be replacing is actually going to be this bottom one right over here. It's held in by a knuckle connected to the bottom of the shock with 3 17mm bolts, and the sway bar is actually right back here, the sway bar link. That one should be pretty darn easy to take out, but I wasn't able to find some upper control arms, which those are this one right here. For some reason, they're ridiculously overpriced. I don't know why. They're like 3 times the price of the lower control arm, but I just couldn't justify it. These ones do have some aftermarket bearings, some moosehead bearings in the control arms, and they're doing pretty good. So I think I'm just going to focus on the lower control arm and the sway bar link up here. So I'm just going to start unbolting those 3 bolts, and we can get started. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys what was going on. I ended up unbolting the sway bar link, no problem. I disassembled the knuckle and pushed the rotor all the way to the side, and it gave me access to the cotter pin and bolt that's holding down the lower control arm. And man, look at that thing, dude. That's probably the reason I haven't been able to do donuts, actually. I would always go too wide. These control arms are probably shot. While I'm here, if you guys have any creative ideas of how to rewrap these wires, because I don't think heat shrink would fit over the sensors, definitely drop it in the comments. I would love to know. But other than that, I'm going to pull out that cotter pin, unbolt all the bolts, and pull out that lower control arm. I really didn't want to buy extra tools for this job, but this ball joint was giving me way too much trouble.
Hold on, is that Racky?
Holy crap, dude, I had no idea these things were that difficult to take out. I didn't want to have to buy any extra tools, but there was no way around it. You have to buy one of these pickle forks, whatever they're called. It really made the job that much easier. But just take a look at these bushings real quick. This is the control arm. I've been driving on control arms in this condition. No wonder I can't do any donuts. And same thing goes for the sway bar links. They're both just toast on both sides. They're supposed to be grease in these things. Toast. And now look at the new one, just for fun. They barely move. I think this is going to be a well-deserved replacement. I would go ahead and power wash the whole wheel well right now, but I do not have a power washer. Mine broke. So we're just going to go ahead and soldier on with this install. Okay, so we got the control arm bolted up, we got the sway link in there, and all we have to do now is preload the suspension and bolt everything back up. Before, I tightened everything down, you know, hand tight basically, and you know, there wasn't any wiggle room. And this is what I'm doing to preload the suspension. I'm just using the jack right underneath the control arm, and I've pressed this all the way up right before the car starts getting off the ground. And now our suspension's preloaded. And if you look at the sway bar, that was tight. We got a lot of play now. So that means that the suspension actually has some pressure onto it. And yeah, so now I'm just gonna tighten everything back up and we can do the other side. Another good trick when preloading your suspension would be to measure from the bottom of the wheel well to the center of the wheel hub. We got about 13 inches, so after we install all of our parts, we're gonna preload the suspension just like I did before, and when we see 13 inches, that's when we know our suspension is in the right spot and we can go ahead and tighten everything down. Obviously, the second control arm had to be even more stuck than the first. The only way to get it out was to buy more tools. After using both the fork and the ball joint press, I was able to get it free. After torquing the wheels to spec, I was off to get an alignment. And just like that, we're done. Before I tell you about the alignment results, definitely leave a like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel. And it definitely helps me get the motivation I need to keep making more videos like this. But I got the car aligned, I installed all of our parts, and I brought the car straight to get aligned, and let me tell you, the drive there was not so fun. I kept hearing a bunch of knocking and metal clanking noises, and the car just felt so loose, and it just wasn't driving right. But once I got to the shop, they did whatever they had to do, and aligned the car is driving like an absolute dream now. The one thing the shop did tell me is that my tie rods were definitely rusted out and definitely could have used replacing as well. But yeah, that's probably for the next video. I did even ask about my preloading suspension method, and they said it was totally fine. They said the parts were installed correctly, the car's balanced correctly. So it might not have been the absolute correct way to get it done, but I care about results. I don't care about the right way to do things. But other than that, yeah, I guess this video is over. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.